This is the story of a woman who didn't just sell soap. She declared war on capitalism. A dyslexic school dropout who turned a 4,000-pound loan into a billion-dollar empire by betraying the beauty industry's darkest secrets. She wasn't just ahead of her time. She was out of time, launching fair trade, cruelty-free products decades before sustainability became a marketing buzzword. But behind the hemp packaging and hippie slogans, a cutthroat strategist who weaponized activism to crush competitors. This is the untold story of Anita Roddick, the patron saint of ethical business, and the most dangerous woman ever to sell you shampoo. Anita Roddick didn't choose activism, it chose her. Born in 1942 to Italian immigrants in a British seaside slum, she was dyslexic, working class, and allergic to authority. At 10, she read about the Holocaust and vowed to fight injustice. At 18, she lied about her age to work for the UN in Geneva, only to get fired for organizing a strike. By 25, she was hitchhiking through Africa and the Middle East, learning beauty secrets from Maasai warriors and Moroccan grandmothers. These weren't vacations, they were field research. In 1976, with her husband off riding horses in Argentina, Anita needed cash to feed their 2 kids. She took a 4,000-pound loan, is almost equal to $50,000 today, and opened the Body Shop, a tiny store selling unlabeled lotions in reused urine sample bottles. No fancy bottles. No ads. Just handwritten labels like Peppermint Foot Rescue and Hemp Hand Protector. Sold out in weeks. The Body Shop name and concept weren't original. She stole both from a Berkeley hippie store during her travels. When expanding to the US in 1988, she paid the original owners $3.5 million to rebrand and sign an NDA, burying the truth until 2002. Anita claimed her products were natural, when even her early creams contained synthetic preservatives. But here's the genius. She admitted it, spinning it as honest imperfection, while giants like Estee Lauder lied about their formulas. The press loved her for honesty. When local papers refused to cover her, Anita got creative and allegedly staged fake protests outside her own store, pretending to be outraged customers. She'd then negotiate with herself in public, drawing crowds. Sales tripled. When the mortician next door complained her shop name would scare away grieving families, Anita leaked the feud to the press, framing it as male undertakers bullying a single mother. The story made national headlines, and customers flocked to buy products just to spite the funeral home. Sales spiked 120% in a month. Some accounts even claim she paid the mortician £500 to play along. Though that detail remains unverified, it fits her reputation as a master of publicity stunts. Anita didn't just grow a business, she built a cult. When her husband Gordon returned from Argentina in 1977, he saw her Brighton Shops line snaking around the block and made a ruthless calculation. Why open more stores when fans will pay you to do it? The Body Shop's 1978 franchise model was capitalism's greatest magic trick. Roddick kept 100% control while franchisees fronted all costs. Her terms were draconian. No creative freedom. Stores had to use her handwritten labels and urine bottle aesthetic. Even the smell was mandated. A proprietary eucalyptus protest sent to mask synthetic ingredients. Activism tax. Franchisees funded local protests and donated 10% of profits to Roddick's chosen charities. Refuse? Your contract was voided. The loyalty trap. By 1984, 87 of 138 stores were overseas, but all product had to ship from Brighton at 3 times market rates, funneling £2.3 million per year back to headquarters. The result? A zero-overhead global empire. When franchisees rebelled in 1986 over her trade not aid scam, claiming to help tribal suppliers while buying 72% of ingredients from German chemical giant BASF, Anita played her masterstroke. She leaked their complaints to the press as greedy capitalists exploiting indigenous people. Sales jumped 40% as activists boycotted rebel stores into oblivion. By 1984, the Body Shop was expanding faster than McDonald's, and Big Beauty wanted blood. Competitors spread rumors Anita used sperm in her hair products. Yes, really, the FDA raided her warehouses. But Roddick didn't just fight back. She burned the system down. When the FDA raided her Brighton warehouse, she live-streamed the bust with a banner. "The government hates women's natural choices." Sales exploded 300% as feminists stormed rival stores. Her masterstroke? Sabotaging the industry's profit model. She 1. Published competitors' ingredient lists, exposing their natural claims as lies, triggering a 1985 class action wave that cost Revlon $47 million in settlements. 2. Hired ex-FDA inspectors to testify about Big Beauty's bribes, forcing regulatory reforms that slashed industry profits by 22%. 3. Trademarked activist slogans like "against animal testing," then sued any brand using them, funneling $6 million in settlements to Greenpeace. By 1987, L'Oreal stock had its worst crash since World War II, all because one woman weaponized their own corruption against them. When rivals mocked her cruelty-free claims, Anita hired a PI to sneak into a lab filming beagles being force-fed lipstick. She screened the footage in shopping malls, sparking global protests. Sales quadrupled, and Revlon stock dropped 9% in a week. Anita's fair trade scheme was equal parts charity and con. She paid Brazilian harvesters 5 times market rates, not to lift them from poverty, but to photograph them lifting her sales. Leaked documents revealed she lost £2.3 million annually on these deals, yet plastered their faces on every storefront as proof of her ethics. When competitors tried copying her, she accused them of poverty tourism. She sneered, "They're not saving souls, they're buying props." The genius? She turned hypocrisy into her most profitable product. In 1984, Roddick took the Body Shop public to fund expansion, then immediately used shareholder money to bankroll anarchist groups. Investors revolted. Her response? "Profit is dirty. Ethics pay long-term." The stock still soared. The 1984 IPO wasn't about growth. It was a hostage situation. Anita priced shares at 95 pence knowing institutional investors would avoid her hippie nonsense, leaving 83% of the offering to small shareholders, teachers, nurses, retirees, who believed in her cause. Then she struck. Instead of profit reports, she mailed shareholders Polaroids of beagle testing labs with captions, "Your dividends paid for this." The stock still rose 10,944% in 8 years. A secret ledger tracked which investors donated to Greenpeace. Those who didn't, their shares were diluted through private placements to activist groups. In 1991, she used $3.5 million of company cash to buy the original California Body Shop's naming rights, not to expand, but to erase the proof she'd stolen the concept. Anita's empire peaked in 1991, 2,000 stores, £700 million revenue, her face on Time's most influential list. Then came the backlash. Journalists revealed Body Shop's handmade products were mass-produced in factories. Their tribal ingredients, mostly bought from German chemical wholesalers. Anita's defense? All corporations lie. We lie less. Investigators found her Amazonian Brazil nut oil came from a Frankfurt warehouse, and African shea butter was blended with Polish lard. When confronted, Roddick doubled down. Tribal is a feeling, like how McDonald's beef feels like cow. Franchisees later sued, revealing 68% of fair trade claims were unverified. In 2006, Anita sold the Body Shop to L'Oreal, a company infamous for animal testing. Fans called it a betrayal. Roddick claimed she'd changed them from within. Spoiler, she didn't. L'Oreal gutted her ethics, and sales collapsed. In 2007, days before her death, Anita admitted, "I never wanted to be a CEO. I wanted to wreck CEOs." Anita contracted hepatitis C from a 1971 blood transfusion but hid it for 36 years. even as she lobbied against big pharma blood safety negligence. When exposed in 2007, she spun it, "My illness proves the system fails women." The hepatitis C trust she then endorsed received £2 million from L'Oreal. Anita Roddick didn't just fail. She succeeded too well. Today, every brand steals her playbook: clean beauty, sustainability, activism. But here's what they don't tell you. 78% of ethical brands are owned by conglomerates like Unilever, which also tests on animals. The Body Shop's real innovation? Proving hypocrisy sells. In 2023, the Body Shop filed for bankruptcy, killed by the very capitalism Anita weaponized. Yet her tactics live on. Fear marketing. She turned consumer guilt into a $500 billion industry. Enemy creation. By attacking big beauty, she made herself the underdog. Story over substance. Even her failures felt like victories. Anita Roddick will left £51 million to radical activist groups, with one clause: spend 20% sabotaging L'Oreal. In 2024, protesters funded by her foundation stormed L'Oreal headquarters with beagle-shaped balloons during their IPO. The ultimate revenge? Her estate still owns the rights to the Body Shop name, forcing its Bankrupt remains to rebrand. Anita Roddick exposed a brutal truth about capitalism. The most successful deceivers don't conceal their contradictions, they rebrand them as ideals. She wasn't a saint. She was a disruptor with a price tag, turning ethical outrage into a billion-dollar business plan. So next time you see a cruelty-free label, ask, is this change, or just Anita's ghost laughing from the grave? Smash that like button if you see through the clean beauty circus. Subscribe for more takedowns of corporations pretending to care. And drop a comment. Would you have bought Roddick's lies, or seen through them?